Let's talk about the new trailer for Bring Her Back. This is the latest film from Danny and Michael Philippou, Raka Raka, who of course brought us the amazing debut of Talk to Me a couple of years ago. And I still remember going to see this movie at Sundance. It's going to be one of the best moments I think from Sundance for me I've had so far, with going to this movie with a crowded theater. First time ever shown, well, second time. I didn't watch it at the premiere, y'all. I'm not gonna come out here and lie to y'all. I watched it at the next day because I went to go watch Infinity Pool. Do with that information what you will and think of me whatever you want. I'm not gonna get into that. But I did watch this movie after because I had heard so many great things about it. And I was ready. I was ready and be mind blown. And I was. I think Raka Raka are definitely great tours, and I'm excited to see their future, and especially Bring Her Back now. So Bring Her Back is the latest film from the duo, and this time they have Sally Hawkins in this one starring, which I love Sally Hawkins. I think she's a phenomenal actress. Now this film will be releasing in May, and I'm definitely excited to see what we're about to get into because the latest trailer, pure insanity. So let's break down the trailer first, and then we'll get into a bit of information that the Philippou brothers did provide during an event in Los Angeles where they showcased 2 clips and talked a little bit more about the film and kind of lets us know what this movie's all about. So the latest trailer showcases that yes, indeed, this is going to be one of the eeriest movies we've ever gotten because just the noises of it all are just incredibly disorienting and weird. Look at this image right here. I'm sorry if I scared you, but this one got to me when I watched it. I've watched the trailer a couple of times already. Now, I think Sally Hawkins here, of course, is playing the mother. We just know that there is a mother, foster children. There's some weird cult stuff happening here, and apparently they want to bring someone back. Let's get into more of these images and talk about it. So, of course, we see that the mother here is measuring them for whatever reason that may be. These new foster children seem to be more foster children because it looks like and sounds like she already has had some and has some here. Now this main child here is interesting because as you can see they have a birthmark under their eye, which also is somebody that we see in the trailer have a birthmark in the VHS footage that is so creepy, honestly. Even since the first trailer I said the VHS lo-fi footage is gonna be what gets to me. That's gonna be what gets to me. But what it seems like is happening here is there is a ritual seemingly happening with circles, and there's also some signs here. This is an air sign as well, so some alchemist type vibes, necromancy we're getting into throughout this whole trailer. But it looks like shit goes bad and they're trying to keep it in. As you can see, they're doing these demon circles, as we know, probably to keep whatever is happening in there from escaping or leaving, and they're trying to bring something back or someone. And we hear throughout the trailer at the beginning they talk about how she hasn't been able to surpass the loss of somebody. Now in my theory, I think that Sally Hawkins is using foster children to bring back individuals, whether that's her own child or maybe she and the cult are trying to bring back members of the cult through these children. They do talk about the soul being intact for months in the body after the body has died and is seemingly decomposing. The soul is still alive somehow. So I don't know if they're trying to pass these souls on to the children or they're trying to sort of use them as avatars of sorts, right, in order for they to continue to live on forward even after they have died. And I think the videotape and all of that is being used to sort of complete the ritual. Maybe they have to see when the person dies and all of that as they're doing the ritual in order for it to work. You know how they used to say, or some cultures believe, or some societies have believed in the past or today as well even, that a camera sort of keeps the soul, something like that, right? So that's something I was thinking about when I first saw the trailer and heard about the film, and especially with the second trailer. Now Danny and Michael Philippou actually had a whole thing where they had some people come out over there in Los Angeles to watch certain things and talk about the film in itself, where they said that they are still in post-production. I didn't go, by the way. I'm reading off IndieWire and also Cinema Blend what they had to say about this. I wanted to go, y'all. I did, but sadly, I did not go. So apparently they first introduced the audience to the cast of the film, which we know Sally Hawkins is in, saying that she plays a kindly foster mother who, as Danny introduced her, might just be a psychopath. Bill Barrat as well as Sora Wong as her 2 new foster kids. You also have Jonah Wren Phillips as her younger troubled foster son, and they apparently showcased a clip in which we see that there is going to be some gore that gets insane. So we also see that there is a bloody child endangerment scenario that actually made multiple audience members gasp and look away, according to IndieWire. So that's what comes from IndieWire about the clips that were shown. So we just get an introduction to Sally Hawkins, who seems to be kind, as they say, but could probably just be a psychopath. And we also apparently meet the children here. Of course, the young child, Jonah Wren Phillips, is the child I was talking about with the birthmark, who could possibly be the one that they are trying to use in this ritual right now. Cinema Blend went a little bit more into detail with the clips, saying that in the clip that they showcased, Billy Barrat and Sora Wong are playing Andy and Piper, a brother and sister who start the story being sent to a new foster home. And the first clip that they got to watch during the Bring Her Back preview was as they enter a house with Alive by Empire of the Sun playing. I was just listening to Empire of the Sun, y'all. They have some hits. But anyways, it plays at a deafening level, and they make their way down to the foyer to the open space living room with Piper, who is visually impaired, we find out. And I kind of got that from the trailer as well, using her hand to trace the wall. So when their presence is finally noticed, their new foster mom, Laura, who is played by Sally Hawkins, stops the music and rushes at them with extreme excitement to introduce herself. She asks that the three of them take a photo together, but she notably blocks Andy with her own head in the selfie angle. Laura's oddness is further exposed when she introduces the teens to Pom Pom, her dead stuffed dog, and when she learns that Piper doesn't like to use her cane because of how it makes people treat her, she quote growls her Nan's perspective on judgmental people. Fuck off, you fucking fuckers. The mood quickly changes when Andy notices tape on the floor, and Laura explains that her daughter was blind but died. Piper inquires how, with Andy scolding her for her rudeness, and Laura says that she drowned. Oh, that could kind of explain the pool that is empty now, where we see the young child as well there. When the phone rings and Laura answers it, the siblings make their way to the backyard through a sliding glass door. Laura calls to not let the cat out, but it's seconds after the feline has escaped. It doesn't take long for Andy and Piper to understand the concern. There is a large triangular pool that has been drained, and at the center of the blue cement hole is a shirtless boy with a buzz cut standing with his back to the newcomers. So that's what we saw in the trailer there. And of course the cat we saw in the first trailer we ever saw a couple of months ago. The cat is in his arms, and while he remains calm, the cat cries and struggles, leading Laura to rush out and demand that he let go of the animal. This kid with a face bearing no expression is Oliver. So that's definitely something right there as well. So I really like that we got to meet all the characters in that scene. Of course I didn't watch it, but I'm just reading it and I'm just visualizing in my head with the trailer, right? And I think it really showcases who these characters really are, as well as Oliver, who definitely might just be one of the people that is going to be part of the sacrifice, right? So according to Cinema Blend, in the second scene that we see, it says, while Andy is in the backyard at a spigot washing his hair, Oliver is shown to be in the second room floor watching him through a closed window. When a fly lands on the glass, Oliver smacks it with his palm and kills it, getting Andy's attention. Andy waves, but Oliver ignores him. Instead, he picks up the dead insect with his finger and puts it in his mouth and chews. Now inside, and not having seen this bug-eating episode, Andy goes to Oliver's door and discovers that he has been locked in, but he grabs the knives and jimmies the lock. Sitting together in the kitchen, Andy takes out some cantaloupe and offers to slice them up in exchange for some communication, giving the seemingly mute child a pencil and a pad. Initially, Oliver is hesitant, but when he goes for the writing utensil, Andy stabs some melon on the end of the knife and gives it to him. Andy turns around and ducks down for a moment to grab the plate, but that is all the time that is needed for the start of a horror show. Instead of just taking the cantaloupe, Oliver has instead started to chew on the fruit and the blade simultaneously. Close-up of the kid's mouth reveal him cutting his gums and slicing through his philtrum. Now, I looked up what philtrum was, by the way, and it's like the little groove we have in like between our mouth and our nose, that little part above your lip. So I'm just thinking, holy shit. So blood pours out as Andy screams for him to stop. Recognizing the situation as an extreme emergency, Andy tries to get Oliver to a hospital, but this proves much harder than imagined. There is a white line surrounding the property, and Oliver absolutely will not cross it. His feet drag and struggle, but Andy is bigger and overpowers him. It's a mistake. As soon as the child crosses the line, he screams, collapses to the ground, and has a seizure, white foam mixing with the blood in his mouth, creating pink bubbles. His eyes bug out and turn red. Something within the cavity of his bare chest begins to vibrate and push through his skin. While we previously thought Oliver couldn't speak, he meekly says, "Help me." So this is actually what we see in one of the first trailers we got for this, is that person that was convulsing. And I was wondering if that was like the ritual going bad or what was happening there, right? And now I'm thinking, of course, that this is because this was the containment circle and they couldn't go beyond this circle or else like shit will go down, right? And we've seen this in countless movies where they do demon possession, exorcisms, necromancy, and things like that. So, of course, we're getting into some necromancy shit right now. So all of this, the way that they describe this footage, as well as what we've gotten already from the newest trailer, really has me believing that Laura, who of course is played by Sally Hawkins, is in this sort of like cult that believes that they can bring back certain individuals back from the dead by using their soul and putting it into new bodies. That's my guess right here. And that is why Laura has these foster children, of course. And I think that they are just using them sort of like guinea pigs because she can easily just take them in, you know? So I think that's what's happening here. Laura's daughter, of course, died drowning. And I think that's why we see maybe the boy very close to the pool. Maybe at this point they've already done the ritual and Laura's daughter's body, or I mean soul, of course, has gone into the young boy now, and it's sort of battling or at odds. Maybe it didn't go as perfectly as they wanted it to do, and that's why she wants new foster children to try it out again. That's what I think is potentially happening and bring her back from the trailer and all of that. And just this footage description that they showcase from these two scenes really has me more like, this could potentially be even more unnerving than I thought. More than Talk to Me's headbang scene, which was just a doozy the first time I watched it. So let me know what you think about Bring Her Back. What do you think's going on? Like I said, it definitely sounds like some necromancy work, some ritual work in order to pass the soul of a dead one into a live one. And Laura is just using the foster children as sort of vessels for her cult group and all that, and they potentially are looking to do the same for them. So Laura's using her daughter's soul and these poor kids like bodies as an effort to see if they can do this, potentially playing God. So very curious how this movie's going to be. I'm excited to see it on May 30th. Hopefully we get a screening out there somewhere. A24, listen up. So according to IndieWire, the Philippou brothers also spoke after they showcased the footage, and this was all moderated by executive Sam Hansen over at A24, and they spoke about writing the film with co-writer Bill Hinsman. Danny said that they were writing the script concurrently with Talk to Me, and that the film was impacted by a real-life tragedy they also had during the early drafting stages when the brothers' cousins actually lost their 2-year-old child, which of course is so horrible and such a sad event. They said that this traumatic event ended up heavily informing the direction of Hawkins' character as Philippou and Hintzman became interested in the cycle of grief as a horror concept. Horror is a fun way to look at dark themes like that, and the idea of her never being okay ever again after that was an inspiration point, and how far she would go to heal herself from it, and the idea of a never-ending grief cycle is terrifying to me. Seeing raw grief like that is terrifying, Danny said. That just happened while we were writing, so that became part of the screenwriting process, and it always is a way to express those things or look at those things in a funner way. Hopefully it's fun, probably not. So I'm very interested in what they have to say with grief. That was something that I kind of took into account when I was reading the title in itself, Bring Her Back, of course, Bring Her Back from the Dead. And I think that the second trailer really encapsulates that desperation. We even see it in Hawkins' character throughout the trailer in the second half, as she is very happy and eager saying it's working. And it's just probably going to be a tragic horror story. And I think that's when horror really works the best. But I'll see all of you next time. Let me know what you think about the trailer, if you're excited or not. CinemaCon underway. Lionsgate had a pretty decent lineup of John Wick movies. Don't ask me why they're doing so many. But we do have Warner Brothers tonight, so you could probably expect to see a whole video about that if we get some pretty good stuff. And I will also have a Minecraft review tonight. I know, I'm shifting from like Bring Her Back into Minecraft. But hey, we love all kinds of movies over here. And as always, I'll see all of you next time. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We are on the road to 40,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. Yellow Jackets video tomorrow and the White Lotus video next Thursday. So stay tuned. As always, I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.